Welcome back to the deep dive. It is great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
So today we're tackling a topic that I think creates this very specific, almost physical reaction in most people.
Hmm.
It's that unique sinking feeling you get when you have to think about two things at once: your own mortality and just a mountain of paperwork.
It is the ultimate procrastination combo. It's like the Sunday scaries, but, for your entire life.
Exactly. We all have this vague, nagging sense that we need to get our affairs in order, right? It
Aw.
just sits on a to-do list for years.
And the idea of actually doing it, calling a lawyer, the fees, the confusing language, it just makes you want to put it off forever.
Well, today we're looking at a bunch of sources from a platform called claimmylegacy.com, and they are making a pretty bold claim. They say they've basically fixed this whole mess.
And this is really a textbook case of what people are calling legal tech. Taking something that has always been super expensive and frankly really slow estate planning
Yeah.
and turning it into software.
Right. So that's our mission for this deep dive,
Mm.
to unpack how this platform is trying to disrupt that world. And for me, the big question going through all this was, how? I mean, how can an online algorithm possibly replicate the nuance of a real human attorney?
That's the key question.
And there's this really provocative claim in the source material that a simple will, which is what I think most of us assume is the thing to get, might actually be dangerous for your privacy.
Oh, that's a huge point we need to dig into because the common wisdom is, I'll just write a will, stick it in a drawer, and I'm done. But these sources suggest that's actually a pretty bad idea.
Okay, let's start at the beginning then, the problem. Why do people avoid this? I mean, beyond the obvious.
The source material is very direct about it. It lists the big three: expense, time, and complexity. They literally say the U.S. legal system is expensive, but protecting your family shouldn't be.
Which makes sense. Most families can't just drop thousands of dollars on a binder full of paper. It feels like a luxury.
Exactly. And because it feels so intimidating and expensive, people just freeze. They do nothing. And that's where the source material brings up what they call the government plan.
I saw that. It sounds ominous. If you don't have a plan, the government has one for you. Is that just a scare tactic?
Well, it is a scare tactic, but it's also factually true. The law has a default, and the source describes that government plan as slow, expensive, and completely public.
Public.
Yeah. So basically, if you die without a plan, it's called dying intestate. The state has a rigid formula for who gets your stuff.
And I'm guessing that formula doesn't care about your specific wishes.
Not at all. It's all about bloodlines. But the bigger issue they highlight is the loss of control. A judge, a stranger, starts making decisions for your family.
That is a terrifying thought. You're gone, and some random person in a robe is deciding who gets the house, or, God forbid, who raises your kids.
Exactly. So the pitch from Claim Your Legacy is basically, the law is complex, our software makes it easy. They want to remove all that friction.
And they use an analogy in the text that I think, pretty much everyone gets. They compare it to tax season.
The TurboTax comparison, yeah. The source says, millions prepare and file taxes online. Now you can prepare your estate too. It's the idea of taking this labyrinth of rules and turning it into a simple Q&A.
Okay, so that's the why. They want to make it accessible, but let's dig into the what, because this isn't just a site where you, download a will template. They're making a very specific legal choice here.
No, and this is the absolute core of their argument. Claim Your Legacy focuses on a comprehensive estate plan, and the centerpiece isn't a will, it's a revocable living trust.
Okay, stop right there, because trust sounds like something for billionaires on TV shows.
Yeah.
Why are they pushing a trust instead of a will for, normal people?
This is where we get to that privacy aha moment. The source material explains that a last will and testament is basically just a letter to a judge.
A letter to the judge. I've never heard it put that way.
Yep. A will only kicks in after you die, and for it to work, it has to go through a court process called probate. And the source flat out warns that because probate is a court proceeding, it becomes public record.
Wait, really? So if I just have a will, anyone off the street can see what I had and who got it?
According to the source, yes. It says every asset becomes public record. And it warns that this can attract, and I'm quoting, unwanted attention from outsiders. Think scammers, predators, or just nosy neighbors.
That is wild. I had no idea. I just assumed a will was this private thing between you and your family. Not that you were basically publishing your finances for the whole world to see.
Only after it's filed with the court, but yeah. A trust, on the other hand, keeps everything private.
Now, how did the trust get around that?
So think of a trust like a little company or a box. While you're alive, you put your assets, your house, your bank accounts, into the box. You still
Yeah.
control the box completely. That's the revocable part.
Okay, so I'm still the boss of the box.
You're the boss of the box. But when you pass away, you've already named the next boss. You just hand over the key. There's no need for a court to get involved.
And since the box itself never technically died, you just bypass the whole court system.
You bypass it entirely. That's why the source lists control as a huge benefit. And crucially, they say it saves the family thousands in probate costs.
So it's an investment up front to avoid a bigger headache and a bigger bill later.
That's the argument, 100%.
All right, so we get the why avoid the scary government plan and the what? Use a trust for privacy? What about the how? I mean, how do you actually use this thing? If it's as confusing as the law itself, no one's going to finish it.
Right, if it feels like homework, you'll just close the tab. And they seem really aware of that. The source literally says, "We hate legalese."
I love that. Legalese is the worst. It's like a secret code designed to keep normal people out.
It's a barrier, yeah. So they built the whole thing as an interview. It's all in plain English.
So it asks you about your life, not about legal statute.
Exactly. Are you married? Do you have kids? That sort of thing. And one feature I thought was really smart was the pop-up help. As you go, if you hit a term you don't know, a little box pops up and explains it right there.
Oh, that's huge. It's like having a little translator whispering in your ear, "Hey, executor," just means the person who does the paperwork.
And they claim it's fast. The source says you can be printing your plan in about an hour.
An hour. That seems almost too fast.
Well, it's the power of automation, right? The software is just compiling the documents in the background as you answer.
But, and I have to ask this, who wrote the legal stuff behind the scenes? If I'm trusting my whole life to a website, I need to know it's legit.
That's a fair question. The source makes a point to say the documents were drafted by a team of expert estate planning attorneys to be compliant in all 50 states.
So humans wrote the code, but the software runs the interview.
That's a good way to put it. And I saw in the fine print that software is powered by a company called Estate Documents Pro. So it's built on an existing professional legal engine. It's not some brand new experiment.
That does make me feel better. Okay, so what do you actually get? It's not just the trust, right? The source called it a bundle.
No, it's a whole portfolio of documents. And this is important because estate planning isn't just about what happens when you die. It's also about what happens if you're alive but can't make decisions for yourself.
Right, the incapacity stuff. So run me through it. What's in the box?
Okay, so you have the revocable living trust. That's the main engine. You have a pour-over will, which is like a safety net for anything you forgot to put in the trust. Then you get into the medical documents, healthcare power of attorney, a living will.
And those are the documents that tell doctors what you want if you can't speak for yourself, right?
Exactly. Do you want to be on a ventilator? Who makes the call? It takes that impossible burden off your family of having to guess.
That is such a gift to them.
It really is. Then you have the financial power of attorney. You know, if you're in a coma, who pays the mortgage? Who keeps the lights on? This covers that.
I also noticed some really specific, almost nerdy legal terms in their list. Stuff like spendthrift provisions. What is that?
Yes, I thought that was fascinating. The fact that's included shows it's pretty sophisticated. A spendthrift clause basically protects an heir from their own bad decisions or from creditors.
Oh, interesting. So if I leave money to a relative who's bad with money, their creditors can't just swoop in and take the inheritance.
That's exactly right. The trust protects the money for them. And they also mention IRA look-through provisions.
That's super technical.
It is, but it's super important. It basically lets your heirs stretch out the tax benefits of an inherited retirement account instead of getting hit with a massive tax bill all at once.
Yeah.
The fact that the software handles that is impressive.
It definitely suggests it's more than just a simple template. Okay, what about security? We're talking about putting all of your most sensitive personal and financial info into a website.
They take that seriously. The source lists the specs. It's SHA 256 with RSA 4096-bit key encryption.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds like a lot of bits.
It's bank level. They also claim an A rating from an independent analysis, so they're arguing it's a digital vault.
Good to know. Now, here's something I found really interesting. A will is usually this static thing you make once. But Claim Your Legacy seems to treat this differently.
They do. They pitch it as a living document. The source highlights unlimited updates and unlimited restatements
Yeah.
as long as your account is active.
That makes so much sense. Life changes. You have a kid, you buy a house, you get divorced.
Right. And in the old model, every time you wanted to change something, you'd have to call the lawyer and that meter starts running. So people just don't update their plans.
Yeah, you think, I'll just wait, and then you never do.
With this, because it's software, you can just log in and change it yourself. It turns estate planning from a transaction into like a subscription service.
Estate planning as a service.
Yeah.
I like that.
And speaking of the business model, the how to buy section was unique. It's not like you can just go to the site and click add to cart.
Oh, right. The catch. How do you actually get this?
The source says you need a link provided by a licensed financial professional.
So they're not selling to us. They're selling to financial advisors who then give it to their clients.
It seems like that's the main way, yeah. It's a B2B2C model. Business to consumer.
Why do it that way? Why not just sell it directly to anyone who wants it?
My guess is it aligns the estate plan with the financial plan. Your financial advisor helps you build your wealth. It makes sense they'd also help you with the tool to protect and transfer that wealth.
It adds a layer of trust, too. If my advisor, who I already trust, recommends a tool, I'm much more likely to use it.
I think that's the idea. They do say if you find the site on your own, you can request info, so it's not totally closed off, but the main path is through a professional.
Okay, let's ground all this tech talk in reality for a minute. The source includes a few testimonials that really show why this stuff actually matters to people.
It does. There's one from a woman named Tiffany in Arizona.
Yeah, that one got me.
She's a single mom, and she said she was terrified that if something happened to her, her kids would end up in foster care.
I mean, that's a primal fear for any parent. It's not about taxes for her.
Not at all. She said, "Thank you for making this so affordable. Now I know my children will always be in a good home." For her, it was peace of mind about guardianship.
And then there was Steve from Virginia. His story was different.
Totally different. His father got a plan done right before he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Wow, the timing on that.
Unbelievable. And because they had those powers of attorney we talked about, Steve said the family could honor his dad's wishes and manage his care without having to go to court and fight for permission.
That's that peace of mind argument again. It's not just about what happens after you're gone. It's about the chaos before.
Exactly. The value isn't just checking a legal box, it's the emotional relief. It's knowing you aren't leaving your family to clean up a giant public government-run mess.
You're doing the hard work now so they don't have to do it when they're grieving.
And doing it on your laptop is a lot less scary than walking into a formal law office.
So what does this all add up to? It really feels like technology has finally dragged estate law, kicking and screaming, into the 21st century.
It really has. It's making what used to be a tool for the rich, a comprehensive trust accessible to basically anyone.
It's leveling the playing field.
It is.
So I guess my big takeaway from all this is you don't have to be wealthy to need a trust, and you don't have to be a lawyer to understand how to set up your legacy anymore. The tools are finally here.
And I'll leave you with this final thought. We always think of legacy as the money, the inheritance. But after this deep dive, I think the real legacy might be the privacy and the clarity you leave behind. By using a tool like this to set up a trust, you're building a wall around your family. You're protecting them from the public courts, from scammers, from chaos, all during the worst time of their lives. That gift of privacy, that might be the most valuable asset you can pass on.
Privacy as an inheritance. I love that.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, maybe the mission is to ask yourself, do you have a plan? Is it just a will? Is it time for an upgrade?
Don't let the government plan be your plan.
Exactly. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you on the next one.